Today I thought we'd look at another handheld from Baofeng. Now, these handhelds seem to come out very, very regularly, new models. Most of them, in my opinion, do very much the same thing. You know, VHF, UHF, dual band, roughly 5 watts handsets. This one is the AD20, and it looks a little bit different, and I just thought I'd show you the advertisement and run through the differences. You can see this one's currently on offer at 25 UK pounds, so plus the VAT, which you have to pay here in the UK on AliExpress purchases. We're looking at about 30 UK pounds, delivery included. You'll see that this is yet another handset now with the colour screen. And we've also got wireless copy frequency, which you've seen on a few other Baofengs. Notably, the one that I did a video on was the BF1802. And that has a capability that it will pick up a nearby frequency, whether it's on UHF or VHF, and it will tune your radio to that frequency. So it's quite useful if you're trying to find out the frequency that another radio nearby is transmitting on. So what other features have we got with this AD20? Well, you can see it's got some kind of a recording feature where you can actually record, I guess, audio that's being received by the radio. It says digital and analog. Now that's what really piqued my interest, and we look a little bit more closely at that as we go through the advertisement. You can see the bands that it's supposed to cover. So it's got air band. We've got air band reception. We've got band to VHF FM. We've got UHF receive from 350 to 390 megahertz. We've got VHF transmit and receive 136 to 174. 220 to 260 and 400 to 520, both for transmit and receive. We've got Type-C charging, which is very useful. 1024 channels and some sort of encryption mode as well. So let's take another look at it here. Analog and digital combined. Airband 1024 channels. Recording. Can record 10 hours in ADR mode, whatever ADR mode is. Digital channel. So look where we've got private call, all call, group call. Sounds like DMR, doesn't it? But notably, it doesn't mention DMR anywhere in this advertisement. So I'm not certain that it is DMR. Maybe it's DPMR. Wireless copy frequency we've discussed. USB charging, and you can get various accessories. You can see a headset, a microphone, and so on. Data cable and a little CD. I very much doubt that CD has the software for this radio. I can't find any software for the AD20 anywhere online. And my experience of these Baofeng, they're like mini CDs that come with these programming cables. I've got a load of programming cables. But they'll have a certain amount of software on them for various radios, but generally the older stuff. So if anyone has ordered one of these and they've got the software for it, I'd be very interested to know. But I wouldn't bet on that included CD having the software, unfortunately. So that's the ad. Let's scroll down, see if we can get a bit more specifications on the radio. 3 watts to 5 watts output, so it's not no sort of lofty claims for power output on this one. Analog and digital combined, call and digital channel, airband, 1.77 inch colour screen, Vox function Type-C. 2 types of the radio. Apparently you can be sent either one, but the differences only seem to be to do with the printing on the keys on the front of the radio. If you see the 2 examples here. The actual printing on the keypad is slightly different. We've got a couple of questions on this particular ad, but no answers. What is the compatible CPS? That's a very good question, because I can't find one. So that is pretty much it for the ad. It doesn't tell us an awful lot. So if I'm showing you this, have I got one of these? Well, yes, I have. So let's go and have a look at the actual radio now and see what we can make of it. Okay, so here it is, the Baofeng AD20 handheld receiver, analog digital. When I first saw it, it actually put me in the mind of the UV17 that I have. It's a very similar form factor. Colourful case, colour screen. Let's just turn the radio around. Okay, so we'll see we've got the ability to be able to fit, as usual, a belt clip using these screws. The battery is held securely on by a screw, very much the same as the UV17. I'm wondering whether it's the same battery, because that's also a USB-C chargeable radio, and we'll check that. I'll get my UV17 out in the next video. We'll compare the two radios, but here is the, we can just see it here. We've got a little cover there, and that's the socket for the USB-C charging, and we've got a little LED next to that. Okay, on the side of the radio we've got here a switch for the torch, or for the LED torch. Got the PTT, and we've got a side key button here, and on the other side we've got the usual jacks for speaker and microphone. Let's see if I can get that off. There you go. And that will also be where the programming lead attaches. So usual sort of Baofeng programming lead. There's a blank here where there could have been a button fitted, I guess, but there's nothing there. Top of the radio. Okay, next to the antenna we've got the LED for the torch. We've got a receive transmit LED and the on off and volume knob, of course. So let's turn the radio on, and we'll see there's a splash screen, and you'll see in the top VFO there I have an airband. Well, it's not an actual frequency, it's a frequency in the airband. There's nothing going to be received on that, but that's just to show you that yes, we can program in airband frequencies. We'll go to the menu system. Now the screen times out quite quickly. I guess that can be changed in the menu. We'll have a look. So let's press the menu button. Let's go into settings, and these are the various settings in the menu. We've got the radio setting first, so we've got the usual sort of thing. We've got squelch level, timeout timer, we've got a Vox setting, another setting to do with the Vox, power saving, alert tone, key lock, double wait, power on password, boot display, power on character, language, backlight. Let's see if we can get the timings changed a bit on this so that it doesn't keep timing out. We'll go into light time. That's for 15 seconds. Let's have 45 seconds. That should be fine, shouldn't it? Okay, so you get the success confirmation there. Exit out. What else have we got in the menu here? We've got indicator. It's pretty for the LED on top, the receive indicator. Not going to change that at the moment. APO, automatic power off, I'm guessing. Menu reset. TBST. No idea. Some kind of tone there that we can transmit. Maybe a 1750 tone if we need it. For repeater access. Audio board. That's presumably the voice. Although this radio's pretty quiet, it hasn't spoken to me, so I don't know. Squelch tail, lone worker, FM. Program key. So yeah, we can that side key we can set to okay, various things. So a short press on side key 1 could give us the torch, lone worker voltage. Like, you get the idea. So that's the kind of standard thing, nothing really unusual in that menu. Let's go to the channel setting menu. We set frequency, power level, the spacing, various tones, shift frequency and direction, frequency step, code, signal type. So look at signal type. Okay, so that's just a DTMF setting. TX admit. It's beginning to sound like DMR, this, isn't it? TX admit. Frequency hop in, talk around again. That's kind of a DMR term. Channel type, here we go. So you've got a setting there, analog and digital. Okay, it's in analog at the moment, as you can see. I'll talk a bit more about the digital on this. I've only had the radio a couple of days. I've got no software. I've got a whole box full of programming leads, so I'm fairly happy that one of the Baofeng programming cables I've got will fit this. Looked online for software, I can't find none. I'm going to try it with some of the existing software I have. I'm wondering whether the DR1802 I showed you in an earlier video, whether that software might work with this, if it's DMR, but I don't know. We'll try and we'll get back to you on that one. But so it's definitely got some kind of digital capability. Radio info. This was interesting. You put a radio ID and an alias. Again, this put me in the mind of DMR. When I tried to key my DMR ID in this radio, it would not accept the ID. Okay, that's why there's just a number 2 in there. Now you'll know that DMR IDs is normally 7 digits. I could not get, although it would allow me to input the full DMR ID, it kept coming back and saying incorrect code. So let's just show you that. We can go to, we call it, the alias can be anything, that doesn't matter, but the ID, let's try 2352150. Now this is a fictional DMR ID, I have to say, but my own DMR ID didn't work. Okay, let's try saving that incorrect ID. So that's what you get when you key a longer one in. If I delete some of these characters and we just call it 235 and save, it's happy. I don't think this radio is designed for, certainly not for amateur radio DMR. I don't even know whether it's DMR that it's transmitting and receiving. Okay, let's go back out of that. We've got a factory reset. I think there were some record, should be some record settings somewhere here, but I can't find those at the moment. Is it in radio setting? Let's go up there. Audio board. Right. So, I can't see the record settings. I have come across them, but just at the moment, reset radio info. No, okay, so we'll come back to that as well. Now, I have had a look at the manual. It's not super helpful on all of this, as you might imagine, but there is an English language printed manual with this radio. Now, the digital function on this radio is something of a mystery. I've got a number of DMR handhelds and a Motorola DMR mobile radio here. None of my DMR radios can hear this radio when it's in the digital transmit function. This radio receives none of my DMR handheld transmissions, neither does it receive from my hotspot, doesn't receive anything. I suspect it's quite possible that the only digital radio that this AD20 will talk to is another AD20. I don't know that. I'm slightly hampered at the moment by the lack of software. So I can't get into the radio, look at the software, look at the settings. There's a certain amount you can program, as you've seen already, from the front panel. You can set up a channel with it being digital or analog and so on. And you know, you've got various functions there. Okay, TX admin, you know, all the usual stuff that you might see. But what I can't do is decode anything from this radio when it's transmitting. Can't receive anything digitally. It's fine on FM. The audio sounds really nice on FM too, and I've tested it on FM with my other radios, and that's been fine. But the digital function is something of a mystery. The manual, as I said, it's not super helpful, but it does say that this radio is modulating in 4 FSK, which I believe is DMR. I'm wondering whether it's potentially DPMR and not DMR at all. I'm not sure. I haven't got any means of transmitting or receiving DPMR, so I can't test that. I'm looking into seeing if I can get an SDR application. So I can use one of my SDRs and maybe try and receive DPMR to see if this is putting out that. So that is the initial view of the AD20. I've yet to find out how to do the wireless frequency tune that I could do on the BF1802, or the BF1802 that I showed you. I think that function is probably in here somewhere. Again, I'll have to go through the manual. If you've looked at these Baofeng manuals, you probably know they're not the best, but there is, you know, at least we have the manual there for the AD20. Okay, and it is in English. Gives us a little bit about the specifications. So I'm going to look a bit closer at this radio. I certainly wouldn't, if you're looking for a DMR radio, no, this isn't the one. This really isn't the one, because there's something a bit funny about the digital capability. I can show you that it is transmitting digital. So what I'll do, I've got my DR 1802 here. Okay, so I'll put that, or DR 1801 rather. I apologise, I've got the 1802 here as well somewhere, but this is the DR 1801. You can see it's on a frequency of 435 megahertz, so you know, in the 70 centimeters amateur band. It's in VFO mode and it's in digital mode. So first I'm going to key up the AD20 on 435, and you know, the AD20 is about a foot away, and absolutely no reaction at all on the DR1801. It's not receiving anything. Right, the LED on top is not lighting either. Can't see anything. I'm now going to put this onto analog FM setting. We'll just put the AD20 back there for a moment. So we're now on 435 analog there, and the DR1801. I'll follow it up a little bit, and I'll key up here on the AD20. That sounds like DMR to me, or very similar anyway. AD20 is clearly transmitting. I'll now put the AD20 into analog mode if I can quickly. Channel type. We go to analog mode. There we go. What are there? 1 2 1 2 1 2 3 test. 1 2 3 test. You can see that obviously it's transmitting fine on analog mode, on analog FM, and the audio actually sounds quite good. So that was a first look. That's the DR1801. We've all seen that before. It's not the best of DMR radios, but it works reasonably well. It's just that the firmware is non-upgradable on that one, and I much prefer OpenGD77 myself. Right, so there's the AD20. Now, I'm certain this isn't going to have upgradable firmware. It's a very odd radio. I'm going to do some more research on it. I'm going to see if I can find out exactly what it is transmitting for you. We'll also compare it to the UV17. At least see if the batteries are compatible. Baofeng are doing so many different models, and each one seems to have a unique battery and charger combination. Incidentally, this radio didn't come with a charging cradle. It just came, you know, with a USB-C cable and a plug adapter. There's no drop-in cradle, but I guess with the USB-C, you don't need it anyway, so that's fine. The screen here, I think in terms of the parts they've used, looks identical to the BF 1802 and the DR 1802. Same size screen. I think it is the same screen. Colour scheme's a little bit different. I am wondering whether the DR 1802 DMR CPS might work with this. We'll try it and see. I'll get back to you on that. So there it is, the first look at the Baofeng AD20 for around £30. Analog and digital, but what digital mode is it transmitting? That's another story. Maybe I should have bought two of them, but well, I've got enough handhelds here really. I'm certain if we had two, they'd talk to each other. But don't buy this if you're looking for a standard DMR radio. Thank you for watching.